Hi students, hope you are all doing well. So in today's video we are learning the logical group of instructions of 8085. Now logic operations include AND, OR, NOT, XOR, etc. And they are very simple, okay? But we have to learn them for writing programs, okay? So first we will see the instructions that deals with the AND operation, okay? So the first instruction is A and A B. Now what does A and A means? The A and A stands for AND the contents of accumulator with some register. Since 8085 works on accumulator, okay? Since 80 works on accumulator's default register, so A is taken as default. So AND the contents of accumulator with some register. Okay. Now in this example I have taken the register as B. So what does instruction do? It will AND the contents of accumulator with the contents of register B, and the answer will be stored in accumulator. Are you clear? Next instruction is A and A M. A and A M. So what does this instruction means? The contents of accumulator. I hope by now all of you know what is M. M is the content of memory location pointed by HL register pair. So the contents of accumulator will be ANDed with the contents of memory location pointed by HL pair, and the 8-bit result will be stored in accumulator. Hope it is clear. Next instruction is ANI 25H. Now since I is there in the instruction, so 25H is the data, right? So the contents of accumulator will be ANDed with the 8-bit data 25H, and the answer will be stored in accumulator. So these are the three instructions which deals with AND operation. Now let's take the instructions that deals with OR operation. Same instructions: ORA B, ORA M, and ORI 25H. Okay, same. This will the contents of accumulator will be OR with the contents of register B, and the result will be stored in A. Okay, here the contents of accumulator will be OR with the contents of memory location pointed by HL pair, and the result will be stored in A. Similarly, here the contents of accumulator will be ORed with the 25H data, and the result will be stored in accumulator. Here, next the instructions that deals with XOR. XOR. So what does XOR? What are the instructions that deals with XOR? Same. XRA B, that is the contents of accumulator, will be XORed with the contents of register B, and the result will be stored in accumulator. Same, the contents of XRA M, that is the contents of accumulator, will be XORed with the contents of memory location pointed by HL pair, and the result will be stored in accumulator. Then XRI 25H, that is the contents of accumulator, will be XORed with the data 25H, and the result will be stored in accumulator. So I hope all these instructions are clear. They are very simple. Now let's see their use. The use of these instructions, where they are used. Okay. Now suppose A has a data, some random data. Let's take 00110101. Okay, so this is your data, that is it is 35H. Now this is a lower nibble, okay, and this is the higher nibble, right? This is the lower nibble, this is the higher nibble. Now I am telling you to write a program to clear the lower nibble of A. To clear the lower nibble of A. Okay, that means I want my result as this is the lower nibble, clear or mask. I can tell either clear or mask, both are same, remember. Okay, clear or mask. So what result I am expecting? If I clear the lower nibble, what will be the result? The lower nibble will be 0 0 0 0 and the higher nibble will remain as it is. Okay, so this is the result that I am expecting. That is, I am expecting the result as 30H. Now you can tell that, ma'am, it is very easy. Simply if you subtract 5 from the number, you will get 30. Okay, I agree. But this is possible only if you know the number that is stored in accumulator. Okay, I have taken a random number. Now if I tell you in the program that you pick a number from so and so memory location and you clear the lower nibble of that number. Okay, so in that case you don't know the number. So in that case you cannot subtract any number. No arithmetic operation will come to use then. Okay, what you have to do? You have to use the logical instruction. Now which logical instruction you will use? See here, the truth table of AND. What does it say? 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. What is the result? 0 0 0 1. Now see the pattern. Any number if you are ending with 0, okay, any number if you are ending with 0, the result you are getting 0. And any number if you end with 1, the result you are getting as it is. See the pattern? Again I am repeating, any number if you end with 0, the result you are getting is 0. And any number if you end with 1, the result you are getting as it is. Okay, see, as it is. So I hope you have understood what I want to say. So what you have to do? If you want to make this 0, what you have to do? You have to end this lower nibble with 0. If you end the lower nibble with 0, the result of the lower nibble will become 0. And if you want the higher nibble as it is, you have to end the higher nibble with 1. Okay, so what is the answer? F0H. Okay, that is your, if I write this program, what will be your instruction? ANI F0H. So whatever data is there in the accumulator, if you end F0H in the F0H with the number, okay, the lower nibble will be cleared. Now if I say that you clear the higher nibble, of accumulator, what you will do? You will end this with 0 and you will end the lower nibble with 1. So what is the result? This will be same 0 1 0 1, okay, and this will become 0 0 0. That is, your result will be 0 5 H. Okay, and the instruction will be ANI 0F H. So I hope it is clear. So if I tell you to clear any bit, okay, any nibble, any bit, you have to end that bit or nibble with 0. So I hope you have understood this instruction. Okay, now let us take another example. Now the processor wants to set the lower nibble. Let us take the same number 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1. Okay, now I have told, write a program to set the lower nibble of accumulator. Okay, set is, you want your result as, this is the lower nibble, this is the higher nibble. Okay, so I am telling you to set the lower nibble of accumulator. That is, this is the lower nibble. Set means the lower nibble will become 1 1 1 1 and the higher nibble will remain as it is. That is, I want my result as 3F. Okay, so what you have to do? Now you have to use the XOR OR logic. You have to use the OR logic. Now see the pattern. 1 0 1 1. What answer you are getting? 0 0. Sorry, 1 1 1. Now you see, anything if you OR with 0, any number if you OR with 0, the answer remain as it is. Any number if you OR with 0, the answer remain as it is. And any number if you OR with 1, any number if you OR with 1, the answer becomes 1. Okay, any number if you OR with 0, the answer remain as it is, and any number if you OR with 1, the answer becomes 1. Okay, so to set the lower nibble, what I have to do? I have to OR the lower nibble with 1. See, any number if I OR with 1, the answer becomes 1. So I have, if you want to set the lower nibble with 1, I have to OR the lower nibble with 1. Okay, and this, the higher nibble will I will OR with 0, because if you OR any number with 0, the number remain as it is. So if I want that the higher nibble should remain as it is, I have to OR the higher nibble with 0. Okay, understood? So our instruction will be, this is 0, this is F. So our instruction will be ORI 0F H, ORI 0F H. Okay, that is, what does the instruction means? OR immediately the number in accumulator with 0FH, and no lower nibble will be set and higher nibble will remain as it is. Now if I say that write a program to set the higher nibble of accumulator, what you have done? What you have done? If I set the higher nibble, that is, the higher nibble will remain 1 and the lower nibble will remain as it is. So I would have OR the lower nibble with 0, so that the lower nibble remain as it is, and the higher nibble I would have OR with 1. So it will become 1 1 1 1. So our answer would be F5, and this is F0, that is ORI F0H. So point is, if I want to set in AND operation, we have seen, if you want to clear any bit or any nibble, you have to end that number with 0. And here, if I tell you to set any number or set any bit or any nibble, you have to OR that bit or nibble with 1. I hope it is clear. So let us take another example. So now I am telling you that you complement the lower nibble without affecting the higher nibble. Okay, complement. Let us take the same example. 0 0 1 1. Accumulator is containing 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1. 35H. Now I am telling you to complement. Write a program to complement the lower nibble without affecting the lower nibble of accumulator, without affecting the higher nibble. That is, the higher nibble will remain as it is and the lower nibble will be complemented. This is the lower nibble, this is the higher nibble. So complement means not. That is, if it is 1, it will be 0. This will be 0. This is 0. This will become 1. Again, this is 1. This will become 0. This is 0. This will become 1. So I want that the lower nibble should be complemented. That is in this form, and the higher nibble should remain as it is. That is, I want my result as 3A. Right? So in that case, we have to use the XOR instructions. Now look at the pattern of XOR truth table. 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Now what you are getting? 0 1 1 0. Now look at the pattern. If you XOR any number with 0, the number remain as it is. See, the number remain as it is. But if you XOR any number with 1, the number gets complemented. See, 0 becomes 1 and 1 becomes 0. Understood? If you XOR any number with 0, the number remains as it is, and if you XOR any number with 1, the number gets complemented. Okay? The number gets complemented. Okay? So if I want the lower nibble to be complemented, what I have to do? I have to XOR the lower nibble with 1, and if I want the higher nibble to remain unaffected, I have to XOR the higher nibble with 0. Okay? So what is our answer? 1 XOR 1 is 0, 1 XOR 1 is 0, 0 XOR 1 is 1, 1 XOR 1 is 0, 0 XOR 1 is 1, and this is same as it is. 1 XOR 0 is 0, 1 XOR 0 is 1, 0 XOR 0 is 0, 0 XOR 0 is 0. So that means if you want your answer to be complemented, if you want any bit to be complemented, you have to XOR that bit or nibble with 1. Clear? So your answer is that is if the operand is 0FH. That is your instruction is XRI 0FH. That means XOR immediately 0FH with the operand stored in accumulator. With the operand stored in accumulator. Understood? Understood? So I hope it is clear how to use the. Now if I say you have to complement the higher nibble of accumulator without affecting the lower nibble, what you have done? What would you have done? Here you would have XOR the higher nibble with 1 and the lower nibble with 0. So this will get complemented. That is 1 XOR 1 is 0, right? Then 1 XOR 1 is 0, 0 XOR 1 is 1, 0 XOR 1 is 1, right? And 1 XOR 1, 1 XOR 0 is 1, 0 XOR 0 is 0, 1 XOR 0 is 1, 0 XOR 0 is 0. So higher nibble is unaffected and the lower nibble is complemented. That is your answer. Your operand is F0H. Okay? This is 5 and this is C. Okay? So this is C. C5H. Right? So I hope it is clear. Okay, now suppose I give you any number. Any 8-bit number. Okay, and I want that this bit you make it 0. You make it 0 without affecting the other bits. Okay, so this is very simple. But what I have told to make it 0. Okay, so what instruction? What you will do? You will AND that bit with 0. You will AND that bit with 0, and the remaining bits you will AND with 1. Right? So our operand is F7. That is your instruction will be ANI F7H. Okay? So if you AND this bit with 0, this bit will become 0, and the remaining bits will remain as it is. Okay? So I hope you understand. If I were told you to make this bit 1 without affecting other bits, what you have done? What you have done? What would you have done? You have to OR this bit with 1, okay, and the remaining bits with 0. Okay, you would have ORed this bit with 1 and the remaining bits with 0. So anything, or if you OR with 1, it will be set to 1 and the remaining bits will be unaffected. That is, your instruction would have been ORI 0A. And if I have told you to complement this bit, or if it is 0, make it 1. If it is 1, make it 0. So what you have done? You have to XOR this bit with 1, okay, and the remaining bits with 0. So your instruction would be XRI 08H. So I hope you understood what I am going to say. So lastly, if you ever want to make anything 0, okay, and that bit with 0 and remaining bits with 1. Anything if you want to make 0, any bit, any nibble if you want to make 0, you end that bit with 0, okay, and the remaining bits with 1. If you want to make any bit, okay, any bit 1, what you have to do? You have to odd that bit with 1, okay, and the remaining bits with 0. And if you want to complement any bit, what you have to do? You have to XOR that bit with 1 and the remaining bits with 0. So is this clear? Are the operations clear? Okay. Now let's move ahead. Let's move ahead with the rotate instructions. Okay. Now let's move ahead. One of the best rotate instructions. So rotate instructions are one of the best simplest instructions to write. Okay. Now what do rotate instructions do? They work on a register. Which register? They work on register A. Okay. They always work on register A. That means this is a implied addressing mode instruction. The rotate instructions are implied addressing mode instructions because the instructions always work on register A. Okay, so it is implied that if you don't have to write any register or operand in the instruction because it is implied that the instructions will always work on register A. Okay, so the first rotate instruction is RLC. Okay, so what does RLC means? Rotate left with carry. Rotate left with carry. Okay, that means here this is your accumulator. Okay, and this is your carry flag register. So very easy. You can understand by the instruction only. What does it mean? RLC means rotate left with carry. That means each bit will go one position to the left. Okay, each bit will go one position to the left. Okay, this is the LSB, this is the MSB bit. So each bit will go to the one position to the left. Okay, one position to the left, and the last bit, that is the MSB, will come back to the LSB. Okay, that means the whole of the accumulator register is rotated. The whole of the accumulator register is rotated, and also the bit that goes outside, the bit that is going outside to the LSB, okay, that bit, okay, that MSB also goes to the carry flag. Okay, so the MSB goes to the LSB as well as to the carry flag. I hope you have understood. So what does it the rotate left with carry do? Each bit is getting shifted by 1. Okay, so the last bit that is going out, it will come back to the LSB, and the bit that is going out will also go to the carry flag. Okay, next instruction is RRC. Next instruction is RRC. What does RRC means? Rotate right with carry. RRC means rotate right with carry. here what will happen? This carry flag will be now shifted here. Okay, this is the LSB, this is the MSB. So what will happen? So LSB will go to the same goes each what will happen? Each bit will go one position to the right. Each bit will go one position to the right. Here, each bit will go one position to the right. Okay, and the bit that is going out will come again back to the MSB. Okay, this bit when it will go here, the left to the LSB will come back to the MSB. Also, the bit that is coming out will go to the carry flag. Okay, LSB will also go to the carry flag. Okay, as well as to the MSB. So here in RLC and RRC, carry flag is not taking any part in the rotation. Clear? Carry flag is not taking part in the rotation. Okay, only the accumulator register is rotated. Okay, what the carry flag is taking? The carry flag is taking the dump of the rotation. Okay, what is left after rotation? That the carry flag, it is getting dumped into the carry flag. Okay, so it is not taking any part in the rotation. What is only the register A is taking part in the rotation. Okay, the carry flag is taking only the leftover of the rotation. Now we will see instructions which will take part in the rotation. Okay, now carry flag will act as a 9-bit register. Okay. So here we have in the next instruction in the rotate RAL. What does RAL means? Rotate arithmetic left. RAL means rotate arithmetic left. Rotate arithmetic left. Okay, so people also say rotate accumulator left, but if you look at the operation, you will understand that why I am telling rotate arithmetic left. Now here you see the same. Each bit will rotate one bit left. Each bit will rotate one bit left. Okay, and this bit will also, the MSB will go to the carry flag. The MSB will go to the carry flag. Okay, and the carry flag will go to the LSB. You understood the difference? What happened in RLC? The MSB which was going to the carry flag, that MSB was only going to the LSB. But here, the MSB which is going to the carry flag, and that bit, the carry flag bit is going to the LSB. Okay? You understood the difference? Okay, let me make you more clear. Now, this is RLC, this is RL. Rotate left with carry and rotate arithmetic left. Okay, so what happened in RLC? Suppose this is your carry flag and this is 0. This is previously 0. This is your accumulator. This is 1. Suppose I am taking random values 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so this is the status of your carry flag and the accumulator flag. Now I write RLC. What will happen? Each bit will move one position to the left. Okay, that is this will come here, so it will be 0. This will come here, this will be 0. This will come here, this will be 0. This will come here, this will be 1. This will come here, this will be 0. This will come here, this will be 0. This will come here, this will be 0. This will go here to the carry flag, that is this is 0. This will become 1, and this 1 will come here and this will become 1. So previously it was 8 8. Now after RLC we are getting 1 1 with a carry 1. Okay. Now same thing, the same status I am taking here. This 0. This is your carry flag. Okay. And this is your accumulator 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0. Now I am writing RAL. So what will happen? Again each bit will move one position to the left. Okay. So this will come here, this will become 0. This will come here, this will become 0. This will come here, this will become 0. This will come here, this will become 1. This will come here, this will become 0. This will come here, this will become 0. This will come here, this will become 0. This MSB will go to the carry flag. This will become 1. Okay. And the carry flag, that is 0. Okay. And the carry flag, that is 0. So this will, the carry flag, this is 0. This will come here. So this will become 0. Okay. Now you understood the difference. So here the register along with the carry is rotating. So and here only the carry is rotating. Understood? I think I have made you clear. Here only the accumulator is rotating, but here the accumulator along with the carry is rotating. So is it clear? Now let us go with the next instruction. Let us go with the next instruction, that is RAR. The same RAR. This is the last instruction of rotate, RAR. So what does RAR means? RAR means rotate arithmetic, right. Rotate arithmetic right. That means this is your accumulator. This is your carry. This is the LSB. This is the MSB. So if you write RAR, rotate arithmetic right, each bit will go one position to the right. Each bit will go one position to the right. Okay. And the LSB will go to the carry flag, and the carry flag will come to the MSB, and the carry flag will come to the MSB. Okay. Understood? So these are the rotate instructions. Now if you want to take an example, I can give you an example. Let us make it more clear. What is the RRC and the difference between RRC and RAR? In RRC only the accumulator was rotating, but in RAR the accumulator along with the carry is rotating. Okay, the accumulator along with the carry is rotating. So I hope this is clear. Okay, now let us see the use of these instructions. The use of these rotate instructions. Okay, now before going to the use, let me give you all a bit example so that you can understand the difference between RRC and RAR. Now rotate right. Okay, rotate right. First of RRC, that is, it will one position, one bit will go one position to the right. Right. Rotate right with carry. Now see what will happen here. What will happen? One bit. This bit will go here after I write RRC. This is your accumulator. This is your carry. So this will go E1. Okay. Then here, this bit will go here. This will be 0. This bit will go here. This will be 0. This bit will go here. This will be 0. this bit will go here, this will be 0, this bit will go here, this will be 0, this bit will go here, this will be 0, and this 1 will be going here, the carry will be 1, and the same, this is the LSB, the same one will go here, that it will be 1. So I will get 1 1 0 0 0 0 0 0, right? So this is our new value of the accumulator with the carry 1. Okay, the same data is loaded in the accumulator with the carry 0. Now I apply RAR. So what will happen? This bit will go here 1, this bit will go here 0, 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 this one will go here 1, and then the carry will go here and it will become 0. So I hope this is clear. So your new data is 0 1 0 0 0. So new data is 0 1 0 0 0 0 0. Okay, with the carry 1. So this is the difference between RAR and RRC and RAR. Here only the accumulator is rotating, and here the accumulator along with the carry is rotating. So I hope you understood the difference. Now let us go to the use of this rotate instructions. Okay, the use of this rotate instructions. Now the first use is the instructions. These are frequently used. Okay, suppose you will be using these instructions to determine the value of a bit. How? To determine the value of a bit. How? Now I show you a register. Okay, I show you one register. It is loaded with some data, 8-bit data. Okay, any 8-bit data. Okay, now I say that you identify this bit, whether this is 1 or 0. I tell you in the question that you identify this bit whether it is 1 or 0. Okay, so what you will do? You will rotate this instruction right, because it is closer to the right. Okay, so you use instruction what? RRC. You will use instructions RRC, right? So what will happen after RRC? This bit will shift after you write RRC. This is your carry flag. After you write RRC, what will happen? This bit will shift here. Okay, and this bit, this will be shifting over into the carry flag. Okay, and this bit will also go here. This is after first RRC. Then after again you write RRC. So what will happen? This bit has come over here. The bit which I wanted to, after the second RRC, this in the first RRC, this bit has come the LSB. Okay, after the second RRC, the bit which I wanted to detect, whether 0 or 1, it is in the LSB. Now this bit which was in the LSB, which I want to detect, this will go to the carry. This carry register, right? This carry register. So by using 2 RRC, you can simplify and then you check the carry flag. Okay, so after the second rotation, the bit will come to the carry flag. Understood? After the first rotation, the bit has come to the LSB, the bit which you want to detect. After the second rotation, this bit, okay, which has come after the first rotation, this bit will go to the carry flag. So now seeing the status of the flag, you can say whether it is 0 or 1. Okay, simplest use as if I tell you whether the number is odd or even. Okay, you understood this? How to detect a bit whether it is 0 or 1? Simply you write 2 times RRC. In first RRC, it will go to the right. It will shift one position by in right side. So this will come to the LSB. This bit will come to the LSB. After the second RRC, this bit will go to the carry flag, and then by checking in the third instruction, if you check the status of the carry flag, you can easily detect whether this bit was 0 or 1. Okay, the simplest use is if I say to detect whether the number is even or odd. Even or odd. Okay, very simple. Even numbers have 0 in the LSB. Even numbers, they have 0 in the LSB. Okay, and odd numbers, they have 1 in the LSB. Okay, 1 in the LSB. For example, see here, 0. If you write it is binary form, what will be there? 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. If you write 2, what is the binary form? 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0. If I write 4, 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 0. If I write 6, 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1. So if you check all the binary numbers, you will see, sorry, this is 0 0 1 1 0. So if you check all the binary numbers, you will see that the LSBs are 1, and that is the even numbers in the LSB, they have 1. And if you check the odd numbers, suppose 1, it has 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. If I check 3, it is 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 1. If I check 5, it is 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1. If I check 7, it is 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 1. So the LSBs has 1 in the the even numbers has 1 in the LSBs. So all the even numbers has 0 in the LSBs, and all the odd numbers have 1 in the LSBs. So my point is, if I tell you whether the number is odd or even, what it will do? What you will do? What you will do? If I tell you to check the number is, what you will do? Or if I tell you whether to check the number is odd or even, what you will do? Suppose this is your number, any number. Okay, you have to check this LSB, right? In order to detect whether the number is odd or even, what you have to do? Yes, simple, you have to check the LSB. So you shift this position, you shift the you use RRC. So if you use RRC, what will happen? This LSB will go to the carry flag, and then in the second instruction, if you check the status of the carry flag, then you can easily understand whether the number was odd or even. I hope you understood. I hope you understood. So should I repeat? I am repeating again. Suppose you have got a 8-bit number. Okay, any 8-bit number. To check whether the number is odd or even, what I have told, the even numbers have 0 in the LSB and the odd numbers have 1 in the LSB. So simply by checking the LSB, you can check whether the number is odd or even. Okay, so in the first instruction, write RRC. What will happen? This bit, the LSB, will go to the carry flag, and after in the second instruction, if you write the instruction to check the carry flags, to check the carry flag status, by seeing the carry flag status, you can easily understand whether the number was even or odd. If the carry flag is 0, the number is even. If the carry flag is 1, the number is odd. So I hope it is clear. Now when you do programming, you will become more and more clear of the use of these instructions. Okay. Another use, if I tell you to check whether the number is positive or negative. Now how to determine whether the numbers is positive or negative? Now all of us know that positive numbers has 0 in the MSB. Positive numbers have 0 in the MSB and negative numbers have 1 in the MSB. Okay, this you all know. So by checking the MSB, okay, suppose you have got a number, you have got a 8-bit number. Okay, this MSB, if you check whether it is 0 or 1, then you can easily understand the number is positive or negative. Which instruction you will use? You will use RLC. Okay, if you use RLC, what will happen? This bit, the MSB, will shift to the carry flag. Okay, so in the first instruction, write RLC, and in the second instruction, you will write to check the instruction to check the carry flag status. If the carry flag is 0, the number is negative. If the carry flag is 1, the number is positive. So these are the uses of this rotate, simple uses of this rotate instructions. When you do programming on this on even and odd numbers, then positive and negative numbers, to check whether the number is positive or negative, then you will understand the use of these instructions more in details. Okay. Another example I'll give you. If you have number 53, okay, I'll tell you, you make it 35. Okay, what it will do? Very simple. You rotate the bit 4 times. You rotate the bit 4 times. You write 4 times RLC, 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 RLC. Okay, you will see that 53 has turned 35. This is your homework, you can say. You check by yourself whether this is happening or not. That means the bits are exchanged. Okay, the bits are exchanged. This is your homework. You can check by your own. Okay, if you rotate the 53 numbers left, the number 53 left 4 times, you will see that the numbers are interchanged. You do this as your homework. Okay, check it by yourself. So these are some tricky questions that can be asked. Okay, now rotations can also be used for multiplication and division by 2. Remember, the number should be factors of 2. Okay, suppose if I give you the number 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay, if I write RRC, this is 8, right? So this, if I use RRC, what will happen? Let us check. 0, 0, 0, 0, then 1, 0, 0, 0. This is carry. Okay. So if I write RRC, what will happen? This will be shifted here. 0. Okay. This bit will go here. This bit will go here and it will become 1. Okay. This bit will go here. This will become 0. Sorry. This bit will go here. This will become 0. This bit will go here. This will become 0. This will go here. This will become 0. This will go here. This will become 0. This will go here. This will become 1. This will go here. This will become 0. This will go here. This will become 0. Again, this bit will go here. This will become 0. So the number has turned to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. That is 4, 0, 4, 8. So this is nothing but divide by 2. If you divide 8 by 2, okay, if you divide 8 by 2, the number will turn to be 0, 4, 8. So this RRC can be also used for division instruction, for division operation, but you should remember that the numbers that you are dividing should be a factor of 2. Okay. Again, you can use it for multiplication by 2. You can use the rotate instructions for multiplication by 2. Suppose I take the same number 0, 0, 0, 0 or 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay, that is 8. So if I multiply by 2, it will come 16 in decimal. That is 10 in hexadecimal. So let us see. I use RLC. Okay. So let us see. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay. And this is your carry. So I rotate it left. What will happen? See, this will be 0. This will be 0. This will be 0. This will be 1. This will be 0. This will be 0. This will be 0. And this will be 0. Again, this will come over here. This will become 0. So what is your answer? 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. That is 1, 0, 8. That is 60 in decimal. So this is nothing but multiplication by multiplication by 2. So these are the some of the uses of your rotate instructions. Remember, you can use it for multiplication by 2 as well as division by 2 only if the number is a factor of 2. Okay, you can use it for finding whether the number is odd or even. I've explained it. If you can check it, you can use it for the number is positive to find out whether the number is positive or negative. That also I've explained. Okay, so to check any bit whether it is 0 or 1, that also you can do by using these rotate instructions. So all the possible uses I have shown you. Okay, I hope all these are clear. If there is any doubt, you can ask. And remember, the more you practice these rotate instructions, the more it will get clear. Okay, you take examples from your textbooks. Okay, do it by yourself. Then the examples will be more. The instructions will be more and more clear to you. Is this okay? Okay. Okay. Now our next instruction is compare. Compare instruction. So what does compare do? What does compare do? It compares two numbers. Very easy. So what do you understand when I write, for example, compare B? For example, if I write compare B, what do you understand? That is, you want to know whether A is greater than B, or A is less than B, or A is equal to B or not. That are the three conditions that you want to check. If I write compare B. So what is the process of comparison of two numbers? It is subtracting. Okay. The process of comparison of two numbers is just subtracting. Just subtract the two numbers. That is, comparison is always done by subtraction. Comparison is always done by subtraction. Okay. Subtraction. So have I made myself clear up to this? So just subtract the two numbers. Okay. That is A minus B. Just subtract the two numbers. If the result is positive, then A is greater than B. Okay. If the result is negative, A is less than B. And if the result is 0, then A is equal to B. Clear? So, so when I write compare B, the processor will simply do A minus B. Now, can you tell what is the other instruction that does A minus B? Yes, it is sub B. It is sub B. If you write sub B also, then the processor does A minus B. Now, what is the difference between this compare B and subtract B? Compare B and subtract B. What is the difference? See here. Compare B will not store the result in A. It will not store the result in A. Okay, because you did not want to subtract it. The processor is subtracting, that is different, but your intention was not to subtract the numbers. Your intention was to compare the numbers. Okay, the processor is doing it by subtraction. It is his choice. Okay, but in subtract instruction, you want to do subtract. Your intention was to subtract the two numbers. But in compare instruction, your intention was to compare the numbers. Understood? So in compare instruction, you did not want to reduce anything. Your idea was to know which one is bigger. Understood? Suppose you have got the 4th semester result and you have got the 5th semester result. Okay, so your intention is to compare the numbers. Which CTP is greater, whether the 4th semester, or the 5th semester. Okay, so your intention is not to reduce the numbers. Your intention is to compare the numbers. So the processor does it by subtraction. But if you write subtract, if you want to subtract the two numbers, the processor will again do A minus B. But in that case, your intention was to subtract the numbers. But here your intention was to compare the numbers. Okay, so compare will not store the result anywhere. It will just do the subtraction. Okay, if the result is, and here in subtraction, it will do the subtraction, and the result it will store in accumulator. And hope you understood. Now if the result is not stored, how do you come to know what is the result of the operation, right? What is the result of the operation? It is very simple. It will affect the flags. So what you need to do is to check the flags. Understood? You have to check the flags in case of compare instructions. You have to check the flags in compare instructions. Okay? In compare instructions, you have to check the flags in compare instructions. Okay? Now which flags will you check? There are three conclusions to be made, whether A is greater than B, or A is equal to B, or A is less than B. So you have to make three conclusions, right? So for three conclusions, one flag is not enough, because one flag will give you two conclusions, either 0 or 1. One flag will give you two conclusions, either 0 or 1. So for three conclusions, you need two flags to be checked. Understood up to this? For these three conclusions, you need two flags to be checked. Now, for equality, which flags will be checked? For equality, which flag will check? It is the, for equality, which flag will you check? It is the 0 flag. You have to check the 0 flag. If 0 flag becomes 1, that means your result is 0. The subtraction result was 0. If the subtraction result is 0, then only the 0 flag will be 1. Okay, that means the numbers are equal. If the 0 flag is set, the numbers are equal. Understood? So one conclusion we have made. If the 0 flag is 1, the numbers are equal. If the 0 flag is 0, that means the numbers are not equal. Equality does not come into the picture. If 0 flag becomes 0, equality does not come to the picture. That means either the A is greater than B, or A is less than B. Two conditions will be there if 0 flag is 0. But if 0 flag is 1, then the two conditions you do not have to check. You can simply conclude that the two numbers are equal. Okay? Now, for which number is smaller or which number is greater, which flag will you check? For the greater and the smaller number, which flag will you check? You have to check the carry flag. You have to check the carry flag. Okay? Never trust the sign flag. Okay? Never trust the sign flag, because suppose you have 81. You have got 81 in accumulator and 1. You have got 81 in accumulator and 1. You have got 81 in accumulator and 1 in register B. Okay? 1 in register B. So if you subtract it, it will become 80. So in accumulator, it will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That means the MSB is 1. But if you conclude that if the MSB is 1, the answer is negative, you are wrong. So these conditions arise. So you don't trust the sign flag. You for the number for greater or the if you need to check the greater and the smaller number, you check the carry flag. Okay, you check the carry flag, because sign flag does not always give you the correct answer. Okay, for that you are using the overflow flag, which you will be studying in 8086. Okay, but let's not talk about this right now. So simply, if for greater and smaller, for now you just understand that for greater number and smaller number, you just have to check the carry flag. Okay, if the sign flags comes to the picture, then I have to make you clear the sign numbers and unsigned numbers. That is a different topic. Okay, I hope you have sir has cleared you about the signed and unsigned numbers, so I'll not go over there. Okay, just to understand if the whether the number is greater or smaller, you have to check the carry flag. Okay, I have already told that if the 0 flag is 1, You don't have to check the other two conditions. Simply you can conclude that both the numbers are equal. But if the zero flag is 0, okay, that means there are two conditions left, that is A may be greater than B or A may be less than B. Okay, so if you need to check the carry flag for that. So because you have done subtraction, in subtraction if you have a borrow, in subtraction if you have a borrow, okay, if you have a borrow, that means carry flag will be, if you have a borrow, carry flag will be set to 1, right? If you have a borrow, carry flag will be set to 1. Now when the carry flag will be 1? When there will be a borrow, that is if A is less than B, then carry flag will be 1 and zero flag will be 0. Okay, and if both the flags are 0, that means A is greater than B. There is no borrow generated and the zero flag is also not set to 1. That means A is greater than B. So these are the three conditions. So when A is greater than B, let me revise. When A is greater than B, your carry flag is 0 and zero flag is 0, right? If A is equal to B, your carry flag is 0 and zero flag is 1. And if A is less than B, then carry flag is 1 and zero flag is 0. So if your carry flag is 1, your conclusion is A is less than B. If zero flag is 1, your conclusion is A is equal to B. And if both the flags are 0, that means A is greater than B. So I hope you understood the compare instruction. So now you have seen compare B. Compare B. This is one example. So comparing with the register. Now there is another example, another instruction, compare M. Okay, you know M, same. It will compare the contents of accumulator with the contents of memory location pointed by HL pair in the same process, that is A minus M. Okay, and it will check the flags. If both the flags are 0, that is A is greater than M. Okay, if A is equal to B, if A is equal to M, then carry flag is 0, zero flag is 1. Okay, and if A is less than M, that is carry flag is 0. Carry flag is 1. There is a borrow, and zero flag is 0. Same. Okay, the same process. Then we have another instruction. This is CPI, any 8-bit data. Okay, since I is there, so 25H is a data. So it will compare A with the 8-bit data given in the instruction. So if A is greater than 25H, then same carry flag will be 0, zero flag will be 0. So if A is equal to 25H, then carry flag will be 0 and zero flag will be 1. If A is less than 25H, then carry flag will be 1 because there will be a borrow, and zero flag will be 0. Okay, so I hope all the compare instructions are clear to you. Okay, so in both the cases, in all the three cases, you have to check the carry flag and zero flag. Whenever the compare instruction will come, you have to check the carry flag and the zero flag. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Okay, now the 3 more instructions are left. Very simple. This is STC. What does STC mean? Set the carry flag. Set the carry flag. That is, if carry flag is, it will make the carry flag 1. Okay, whatever if the carry flag is 0, it will be 1. If the carry flag is 1, then it will retain the value 1. Okay, very easy instruction. Okay, then we have another instruction, CMC. CMC means complement the carry flag. That is, if carry flag is 0, If you use CMC, then the carry flag will be 1. If carry flag is 1, if you use CMC, then carry flag will be 0. That is, carry flag equals to carry flag bar. Understood? Understood? Then next and last instruction is CMA. What does CMA stands for? Complement accumulator. Complement accumulator. Very easy. If A is equal to 0, then if you use CMA, A will become 1. Okay? If A is equal to 1, if you use CMA, it will become 0. Okay? You understood? Now listen here. You have instructions for OR, AND and XOR, right? You have already seen ANA, B, ORA, B, XOR A, B, or any XOR C, XOR D, any register you can use. Okay. Now you have instructions for AND, XOR and OR. Now you have instruction for complementing the accumulator. So these instructions also work on accumulator. Okay. So if you write A and A B, what will happen? AND will be A register will be ANDed with the operand in register B. I have already explained. Okay. So you are getting here AND operation. Okay. Then if you write CMA, after this AND operation, where the result stored in A, right? So you are getting the AND result of A and B. Okay. Then if I write CMA, what will happen? Whatever result is there in A, it will be complemented. That is A bar. So this is your nothing but NAND operation. Understood? Similarly, if you use ORAB, that is A is ORed with B and the result is stored in A. Okay. Then if you use CMA, that is A will be A bar. That is OR will turn to NOR. Okay. Similarly you have XRAB, that is A will be XORed with B and the result will be stored in A. Then if you use CMA, the accumulator result will be complemented. Okay. That is you are getting your XNOR. So if I tell you first do the OR and first find out the NOR value of the data stored in register A, what instructions you will use? You will first OR the result ORAB. You will first OR the you fetch the number from the memory location. Then you will move into accumulator. You will move the data into accumulator. Then you AND the data with some register or with some memory location. If the number is in memory location, or if the number is already given in the instruction, then you AND the accumulator data with that number and you get the result in AND form. Okay. Then what you will do? You write the instruction simply CMA. So you will get the complemented result of the accumulator. That is you are getting the NOR result. Okay. Same with NAND. Same with now XNOR. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So this is the end of your logic group of instructions. I have ended all the logical group of instructions. So I hope you are enjoying this learning. So do well and best wishes and stay healthy. Goodbye.